Okay, let me know.
You see this? Yeah, I saw that. You cut really. Last second. About third house
That's
close road.
I'm dealing with my guy. You paid like 14 years. All right, you guys ready? Good?
Let her rest.
Go.
Good?
You're in charge, man.
All right.
You got the gavel.
Call the Ferrysburg City Council meeting for Monday, May 19th to order. Craig, roll call, please. Amber, roll call, please.
Councilmember Sias. Councilmember Murdoch.
Here.
Councilmember Kate.
Here.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Here.
Councilmember Sturley. Mayor Carlson. And Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Here.
Your Honor, I would make a motion that we excuse Mr. Carlson.
Second.
Right, motion and support. Do you mind doing a roll call, Amber?
Councilmember Sias.
Yeah.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Your Honor, apparently Mr. Sturley's gonna be 5 or 10 minutes late.
Yep.
We'll address that when he shows up.
We have a
You okay
motion
with
to
it?
excuse him for now, Craig?
We'll take care of that at a later time during the meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. All right, now we will all rise for an invocation from Pastor Chris Banky from Lakeshore
German
Fellowship,
name,
followed
yeah.
by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Couple verses from Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes toward the mountains. Where will my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. The Lord protects you. The Lord will protect you from all harm. He will protect your life. The Lord will protect your coming and going, both now and forever. Lord God, Heavenly Father, we honor and praise you as our good and gracious Creator who holds our lives in your hands. Every good gift that we have, all that we are and have, comes from your loving, creative hand. And Lord, we pray, Lord, in our every time of need, we look to you as the God who helps us, who provides us what we need, and as our protector, as our preserver. And Lord, we pray for your protection, Lord, for our homes, our families, and for our community. Lord, and we pray for your protection to be at work, Lord, through this city council, that you would guide and direct them. And Lord, in all the business that is enacted, Lord, that you would provide protection for this community, for that in all that they do and all that is decided, it would be for the well-being and protection of this community, and that you would be at work through all their deliberations. We commit this into your hands. In the name of Jesus, we pray. Amen. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Your Honor, before we continue, may I add one thing? I would just want to thank Pastor Benke for making us one of his last official acts before he takes over 3 months sabbatical. He leaves after this Sunday, and he'll be back in September. So thank you for including us on your schedule.
We expect to see you back in September.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is public comments. This time on the agenda is for any citizen to direct brief comments or questions to the City Council. Time for public comments will be given when the agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please stand by the wall near the podium to ensure visibility and be recognized. And after being recognized by the mayor, please give your name and your address of residency for the record and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comment to 3 minutes. Ms. Hop?
Rebecca Hub, former mayor of the city of Ferrisburg, P.O. Box 85, Ferrisburg 49409. My comments tonight. Ferrisburg current mayor's decision to unilaterally change Ferrisburg City Council policy and procedures as to the manner in which a member of the public be recognized to address City Council, namely, stand against the wall, violates the American with Disabilities Act. Under the ADA Title II, public agencies may not discriminate in government services, programs, and activities. Specifically, avoid discrimination by modifying, where necessary, policies, procedures, and practices, and to administer services, programs, and activities in the most integrated setting possible. Integrating disabled individuals into the mainstream is an important objective of the American with Disabilities Act. Ferrisburg's current mayor unilaterally changed the city council policy. As a Ferrisburg taxpayer, former mayor of the city of Ferrisburg, and in my professional career, I have always and will continue to advocate for individuals with disabilities. There is the law.
All right. Thank you. Any other public comments?
Just a minute. Your Honor, Craig, can you look into that and make sure we're in compliance?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Jason Larabelle, 16814 Virginia Avenue. My wife and I are here tonight just to show support for your ordinance change. We really do appreciate all the time that the city has taken to evaluate, how we can make the sharing of produce in our community an easy thing for all of us to do and a safe thing for all of us to do. So we want to say thanks once again, and we look forward to working with you.
Wonderful. Any other public comments? Seeing none. 6, consideration for approval of consent agenda. A, approve the May 5th, 2025 City Council meeting minutes as printed. B, approve the bills memo in the amount of $981.72. C, adopt a resolution to participate in the Ottawa County Treasurer's Tax Foreclosure Avoidance Payment Reduction Program. And D, approve a proclamation proclaiming May 17th through 2025 as National Safe Boating Week.
So moved.
Support.
Approval or motion and support. Amber, roll call.
Hold it.
Discussion.
Discussion, please.
Yep.
Craig, I got a couple of questions on the bills here. Herald Palladium, April advertising, what is that?
Tribune. Grand Haven Tribune.
So that's notices in the Tribune?
Yes.
Could you designate in the future city notices or something of that nature?
Sure.
Save me reading one line. Spring Lake Village, May Dental, that's for the police department? The former police department?
Yes. The dental?
Tucker Marine Construction. What's up with that, 20 grand?
That's the toe stone that was put along the seawall.
Now, that was not included in the original proposal?
No, it was, but when the contractor walked away, we got bids. We brought to city council, and city council approved the Tucker.
So we're not going to pay it twice, correct?
Correct.
What's the status with the original contractor?
We're done with them.
Well, have we sued him to recover? I guess my question is, did he live up to the obligations we paid him for?
Yes. Yep.
Okay,
Everything that he did, he got paid for.
and then he went belly up or
Walked away.
whatever, and then this is addition?
Correct.
Are
This
we
is to finish.
subtracting that from his contract or what?
This is to finish the project.
Okay, thank you. That's all I got.
Any more discussion? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Okay. Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Sias.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, on to 7, new business. A, public hearing, proposed 2025-2026 city budget.
So at this time, you would open a public hearing to state the time, please.
So opening the public hearing at 7:10. All right, and closing the public hearing at 7:10. Okay. B, discussion and to take action if appropriate to adopt a resolution regarding public employer contributions to medical benefit plans.
Your Honor, I'd like to note Mr. Sturley arrived at 7:10. Put that in the record, Amber. Thank you.
All right, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
All right, motion to approve. Do we have
Support.
Support from Debbie. Discussion?
Explain this to us, Craig.
This is healthcare insurance. This will allow the employees to remain at the premium cost share of 15% instead of the 20.
Is that the percentage we've maintained in the past?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Councilmember Sturley.
Yes.
Councilmember Sias.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, 7C, consideration for approval of a resolution to authorize the city's 2025 summer tax levy at 9.9436 mils.
Your Honor, this is something that we've talked about for the last couple of meetings in March and April during the work sessions. The rate is up a little bit over the last fiscal year, and basically that's due to the Council on Aging and the museum having their millage renewed, plus the new bike path for the city at 1.987 mils. So it's about a 0.04 increase over last year in mils.
Your Honor, I'd make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Do we have support? Support. Motion and support. Any additional discussion?
Question. The draft I have in front of me says 9.9911 mils. And I just heard the figure of 9.9436 mils.
It should be the 9.911. That's an error in the agenda.
Agenda is incorrect?
Correct.
Thank you.
My apologies.
Who made the motion? Mike?
I made the motion to
Are you
approve
willing
it.
to modify your motion to reflect the 9.9911 that's in our packet?
I'll make a motion to approve the total millage at 9.9911 mils.
Thank you. Thank you. Supported. Are you? Okay. Any additional discussion? Craig, what kind of increase does this mean for taxpayers?
The $100,000 value, taxable value, $0.04.
Okay. Not significant.
No.
Any other discussion? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Councilmember Sias.
Yay.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
No.
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Sturley.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, 7D, discuss and to take action if appropriate to adopt a resolution adopting sewer and water rates and charges.
I'll make a motion to support.
Motion and support. Do we have support?
I'll support.
All right, motion by Mike, support by Jake. Discussion?
Just a clarification, this is something that we've discussed in the last couple of work sessions. Increase a little bit in the ready to serve for the water of 95 cents a quarter, a 2% increase in the water per cubic meter rate, 54% decrease in the sewer rate to serve, and the sewer cubic meter rate unchanged. So a typical customer would increase about $3.14 a quarter. The other thing that's changed in the resolution is the elimination of the 50% hookup for water and sewer. So we've had that in there for a number of years. Looking at the rates that were provided by Ottawa County for area communities, I think when we get rid of that 50%, we'll be still competitive with the communities adjacent to us.
On average, that's a $3.14 per quarter increase.
Correct. For water sewer customer.
Yep. Any discussion?
Your Honor, Craig, looking on page 3 here, water connection fees, it seems like they've been dramatically increased. Is that my imagination or is that in fact? Meter size 3/4, $2,310. Is that dramatically increased over past connection fees?
That's been the same rate for the last 7 or 8 years. But in the previous 7 or 8 years, they were able to get the 50% discount, which is going away this year.
Okay, and same with the sewer fees, sewer connection fees are the same?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, Your Honor, I just want to say this. I think we need to get a hold of our budget. Everything, we're increasing the taxes on our citizens constantly. I hear it from people that I live around. People are tired of having increase after increase after increase. I think we need to get a hold of our budget, stop increasing.
Your Honor, I would recommend to stop increasing. We need to stop spending. That's the problem. We really need to start reflecting on our stewardship on taxpayers' money, definitely. So in the future, yeah, I probably would not support many more tax increases until we get a hold on our spending issues. My opinion.
Okay.
Your Honor?
Yeah.
Craig, the only increase in the taxes over in our budget was the vote on the pipe gas, correct?
Correct. Plus a renewal on the Millage Museum and Council on Aging.
Right, so basically, Jerry, we've renewed, not increased.
Not increased, but 3 things renewed.
Right.
And
Which,
plus the water and sewer. So
Which-
people
well-
are getting tired of it.
right,
Yeah, but there's a lot of other places to look at savings. There's pensions, there's insurance, there's employee benefits, there's just different things, employee raises, and there's a motor pool that maybe we could look at making some changes there. There's just a lot of ways that we could trim our spending, in my opinion.
right, I don't dispute that, but just to be clear, we're not raising taxes other than what the voters had voted for.
Right.
Okay, yeah, I know, and that's why I supported this, but if we were gonna raise the millage just for expenses, that's what I meant, I would probably not support that.
Yep, not happening. All right, any other discussion? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
No.
Councilmember DeWitt, Councilmember Sterling,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
No.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, thank you. 7E, discussion and to take action if appropriate to amend the personnel manual, section 4.7.1, on-call pay for members of the public works and for members of the fire department. Craig, do you mind explaining?
Yes. So right now, if a member of the Public Works Department is on a call, they're kind of responsible for staying in the city for during that week to be able to respond to emergencies quickly. The fire department has an on-call person over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The current rate for the on-call people for the Public Works is $100 and the fire department $50. Proposing to raise each of those by $25, so the Public Works will go from 100 to 125 a week. The fire department will go from 50 to 75 per week.
All right, I will entertain a motion before we discuss.
Motion to approve.
Support. All right, motion to support. Any discussion?
Yes, Your Honor. Craig, $125 on call for the Public Works, in my opinion, is a joke. You know, back in the 90s, I was getting $500 a week to be on call, and this is not the 90s. I would like to see it go to probably $200. As far as the fire department, I think we should go from 50 to 100. You know, what is the response time the city requires for on-call Public Works? Is there a set time limit?
No, but if there's a water main or a sewer main break, there's an urgency to get to respond to those as soon as possible.
Right, well, when you're on call, you're expected to be here as soon as possible. That means you're not going to baseball games, you're not going to out for dinner with the wife. There's quite a responsibility to be on call. I know I did it for 30 years. I think we should, particularly the Public Works, I would like to see it go to $200 a week. We're only paying one guy, and I think that's fair. Just my opinion.
Any additional discussion?
Your Honor, Craig, do we know how our rates compare to other cities in the surrounding area?
Well, some communities give a certain amount of time off for being on call for a week. I know a couple of communities give 8 hours a week off.
Have we explored that idea? Have we talked to employees about that? Would they prefer time off in exchange for payment?
They enjoy their time off, but we have a small crew here, and to give more time off is hard to do to get the work done.
Okay. Understand.
Yeah, I think getting the comp time in theory is nice, but you know, when you get time off when your wife and kids are gone, just kind of takes some of the fun out of it. I think they like their weekends. I do tend to agree with Councilman DeWitt. I think it would surprise me if we're on par with other municipalities. We're definitely not on par with similar industries. I mean, most pay that per day of on-call. It's definitely something, if we don't want to approve, if we don't want to raise more than 125 tonight, something we should probably talk about next year as we go budgeting.
That was the thought process. You know, we're raising the Public Works 25%. We could look at another 25% next year.
Anything to add, Mike?
I wouldn't be on call for $125 a week.
Yeah, probably wouldn't either.
You can raise it.
Do you have issues with people wanting to be on call, Craig, or fighting it?
No, the Public Works does it on a rotation basis, so does the fire department.
Okay. And how many people are on call at one time?
One.
So how does that work if there's a water main?
Well, then they'll respond, and if they need additional help, they'll call the other help in, and they'll get the overtime pay.
There's just, I recognize there's not a whole lot one person can do.
Yeah, it depends on the emergency.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Like me to modify my motion?
For what?
Before Mike does say, keep in mind what we just talked about, the budget and costing people more money. Just keep in mind, we're a small town.
Craig, adding 25%, as you have it here, what's that gonna increase, to the city cost every year
$1,300
for the year?
for you, 1,300.
One person,
The $25 extra.
one.
No, it's altogether,
In total,
in total,
Yes.
for the year.
because there's only one person per week that's
For all
getting
of them,
this.
for
For
the
all.
DPW, for the fire department, for that all?
No, just for the,
1,300 for all?
just the public works.
Okay, so 1,300 times whatever, the other two.
Well, it's just DPW and the fire department.
Correct.
So how much would the increase for the fire department?
$1,300.
So it'd be $2,600 total for the year.
Saying 26 here,
I get it,
14 there,
I get it, but
add them up.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yep.
If you were to survey, ask them, would you willing to pay $1,300 more for an on-call, Department of Public Works or Fire Department? My guess is that very few would blink at it. These are essential services. If we're gonna start clawing at essential services, then maybe we have a budget problem that I'm not aware of. Because this is somewhat nickel and diming. We're talking about Department of Public Works on call for emergencies, not just giving someone a raise.
and I think they more than proved themselves week with everything we've experienced. And regardless of the cost, it's probably very, very far below industry standards, or at least outside of the industry looking at similar industry.
Your Honor, I wouldn't necessarily look at this as an extra expenditure on the city. I kind of look at this as compensation, and our employees need to be compensated. I don't want to get too out of hand with it, but they should be compensated. I agree. And I agree we are under. I say we give what they're asking for. I don't know if I'd be too inclined to improve it, to raise it.
Your Honor, I would like to amend my motion.
Yep.
Craig, could you refresh me now, the fire department's at $50?
They're at 50 currently.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion that on-call pay for departments of public works is $200 per week, and members of the fire department, $100 per week.
All right, and with the amended motion, do we have support? Jake?
I'm willing to support the first motion.
Craig, how do we handle that?
There's not a second.
All right, so we go with the first one.
So we need a motion to approve it for $75 and $100, $125.
Hunter, so moved.
Okay, so we have a motion, support for the 125 per week and the 75 for firefighters, correct?
That's what was proposed, yeah.
Okay. Any more discussion?
I would think that the fire department should have more money than the DPW people.
Yeah, but they're only on one call for one day compared to the DPW's weekly
week.
on call.
Okay,
So
all right.
that's-
The fire department's on 3 calls, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Oh, it's all weekend. Oh, I thought it was just Sunday. Okay. But it's still 4 days.
Okay. Do we have call-out rates at all? Craig, do we know how often they're called out?
I think we just got that from the sheriff's department.
Depends, you know, if it's snowing,
Well,
the
it's
winter season, they
emergency
get called
call.
a little bit more. Last Friday night or Thursday night, they were out till 2 o'clock in the morning. But it's not often. It's not every week.
Okay. All right, we have a motion and support. Any last discussion before we take a vote? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt,
No.
Councilmember Sterling,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, 7F, discussion and to take action if appropriate to adopt a resolution regarding animal permit fees. Craig, do you want to explain?
Yes. So right now, if someone gets approved for an animal permit, chicken, goats, or rabbits, we need to notify all residents within 300 feet. There has been no fee for that since this ordinance has been adopted. Recently, we had a chicken permit issued, and we had to mail like 73 notices. So this $100 fee will cover the city's cost.
Curious, where do we have property that has 300 neighbors within 300 feet?
Not 300 neighbors, it was 73 or 3 houses.
Okay.
And so if you hit a condominium development, you gotta notice everybody in there.
All right, I will entertain a motion.
Your Honor, motion to approve.
Support.
Motion is discussion?
Your Honor?
Yes.
Craig, $100 seems like, how much does it actually cost us to send? Within 300 feet, you got what, 6, 7 letters?
We just did 73 letters, so 73 times postage plus envelopes plus the paper.
So $100 seems fair then?
Yeah, over the city cost.
Thank you.
Any additional discussion? All right, I think it makes sense. Amber, roll call, please.
Okay, Councilmember DeWitt,
Yes.
Councilmember Sterling,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, 7G, approve a resolution adopting the 2025-2026 city budget of $8,141,200 and appropriating funds for such purposes.
Support.
Motion for support from Councilman DeWitt. A motion, do we have support?
I'll support.
All right, support from Councilman Sias. Discussion? Craig, are you comfortable with this?
Yes, this budget has been put together by staff without really expanding, just maintaining what we have to try to keep the expenses down as much as we can.
Kind of a cushion does this give us, Craig? We're not overspending what we're bringing in, are we?
No,
How much wiggle room does this leave us?
there's some wiggle room. Exact dollar amount, I'd probably say 75,000.
That's not, I mean, that's a pretty comfortable gap, right?
Or if something happens, and
Yep.
we can amend the budget or do shuffle things around.
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, Craig, can you remind me, I know you said it earlier, what was the increase on this budget for mills, the total increase?
0.0477.
Which you said is about $4 for every $100,000 of house value.
Right. Even though there were some millages that were renewed and a new millage with the bike path, some millages got reduced because of the Hadley Amendment.
All right, if no more discussion, Amber?
Councilmember Sturley,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, moving along. 7H, discussion and take action if appropriate to approve a request from the Tri-Cities Kiwanis Club to distribute candy for donation on Friday, June 13th and Saturday, June 14th.
Motion and support.
Support.
Or any discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
Craig, the sheriff's department has looked at this. They're requesting to be at Coast Guard or Ferrisburg Fire Barn at the corner there.
Yes, the Sheriff's Department has reviewed it, and they have talked to the applicant a number of times to make sure that everybody's wearing safety vests and follow proper protocol when they're out there.
The sheriff's good with it?
Yes.
Thank you.
And the city did receive a certificate of assurance listed in the city as an additional assured.
Craig, are they handing out candy to vehicles as they drive by? Or
Someone
is it
stops and gets information, they'll get some candy.
Any further discussion? All right, Amber?
Councilmember Sias,
Yay.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt,
Yes.
Councilmember Sturley,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, 7I, discussion and take action if appropriate to appoint Bill Kate to the Ad hoc Ambulance Committee.
Motion approved. Your Honor?
Yes.
No, we have to appoint a representative from the fire department also? The chief's gonna appoint him? Okay, thank you.
Do we have support?
I'll support.
Motion and support. Yeah, the chief has been covering that, Mike. He'll continue to cover it, from what I understand. Right?
That's correct. So just to clarify, this ambulance committee is going to meet starting in July. We have the current contract with the hospital that expires December 31st. So this ad hoc committee wants to review service continuing with the hospital. There's other alternatives out there at this time.
Your Honor, Craig, supposedly Ferrisburg gets a discount on ambulance rides. That's what? Or is that not included in this?
No discount.
So what is the advantage of staying with Trinity instead of someone else?
That's what they're going to discuss.
Okay, all right, thank you.
All right, any additional comments, discussion? All right, Amber, roll call, please.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt, Councilmember Sturley,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, 7G, discussion and to take action if appropriate to adopt ordinance number 336, an ordinance to amend and restate chapter 32 of the city code, section 32.80, ethics.
Your Honor, I move that we adopt the new ordinance as written, as amended, and restate chapter 32 of the city code, section 32.0.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we don't move forward with this ethic ordinance change.
We have a motion on the table. Do we have support?
Your Honor, I support Bill's motion.
Let's get through this, Jerry, and then,
All right, sure.
all right, discussion.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I see in here, any elected official may request with the approval of city manager that the city attorney provide an advisory opinion. I'm not sure that's copacetic. I don't have to come to you to talk to the city attorney, Craig.
The city policy is that the city attorney runs through the city manager.
Well, the current policy is that you should go through the city manager.
Correct.
I agree.
Well, we gotta reword that because I'm not gonna get Craig's approval to talk to city attorney. I may tell you I'm gonna talk to the city attorney. You ain't gonna give me permission. He works for me, not you. I think we need to reword that. I don't think,
Well, that can add up quick and cost too.
well, we have an ethics violation. Perhaps we should reword to say that because it has to come to the city council now, correct? So at that point, maybe the city attorney has to be here at the council meeting to adjudicate it.
Your Honor. Is there already a city council policy dictates if someone from city, there were gonna be a cost to the city, that would have to be approved by city council per vote?
The current city policy is that the city attorney should run through the city manager.
Yeah.
Correct.
So what happens if you tell me no?
And it goes to city council if you would disagree.
I have a problem with that, Greg. I really do.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I think this whole ordinance ethic change is a waste of time. I think this complaint form is a waste of time. I think it's total garbage, personally, and I will tell you why. There was nothing wrong with our old complaint form, and this does not address any of our issues. Our issues are cost and conflict of interest with our city attorney. It has nothing to do with the complaint form. This complaint form is so narrow, it doesn't cover half of the charter. I opened the charter, first page I came to, section 5.5-3, no member of council shall vote on any question in which he has a financial interest or any question concerning his own conduct. But on all other questions, each member who is present shall vote when his name is called, unless excused by unanimous consent of remaining members of the present. Any member refusing to vote, except when not so required by this paragraph, shall be guilty of a misconduct of office. Now, if I am found to have misconduct of office according to this ordinance, there's nowhere on this complaint form to be for that complaint. This is so narrow. This eliminates half of our charter. This is based on the state statute, and the state statute is the base law. Our charter goes above and beyond the state. We have our own laws that the state does not cover. This whole thing is nonsense. We wasted 2 months talking about this, and it's garbage. It's rubbish. We need to discuss the cost of our complaints and the conflict of interest. That's it. Those are our two objectives. Those are our two problems, not the complaint form itself. That's my opinion.
I think, any more discussion?
And also, Your Honor, what about Open Meetings Act? There's nowhere on this complaint form for an Open Meeting Act complaint. So if we violate Open Meetings Act, somebody comes to file a complaint, well, sorry, it's not on our form here, so you've got to take that to the Attorney General now.
Your Honor.
Yes.
So isn't the complaint form, the purview of the complaint form in regards to the ethics ordinance? Aren't there other remedies? If someone were to violate Open Meetings Act, isn't there other meetings or other remedies than filing ethics complaint?
There would be a state violation.
And let's say there was a state violation, what would be the process for?
The prosecuting attorney would review it.
So the ethics ordinance, the complaint form that we're voting on tonight, covers the ethics ordinance. It's not some all-encompassing complaint form or anything, any kind of wrongdoing that is seemingly done by a city council member. It's not just like this blanket complaint form.
It is. That's what its intention was at the very beginning, is to hold us accountable, the police, the council, and employees. And if we pass this complaint form, this will cut half of our charter in half as far as complaints or offenses towards the charter.
How so? Can you explain why?
Read the 7 complaints on here. There's nothing in here about Opens Meeting Act. So if we violate Opens Meeting Act, we gotta take it to the district attorney. If he doesn't wanna cover it because it's not worth his time, then we gotta take it all the way to the state.
Just like every other municipality.
Right, but we decided to create an ethics act so we can handle it in-house. So we can handle it locally rather than the citizen have to apply to the state attorney
to
general.
handle unethical behavior.
Exactly.
Not violation of every tenet of the charter.
Isn't any violation unethical?
Right, and Jerry, I understand, I tend to agree. However, our attorney came in and explained to us that only those 7 attributes there are what he's
He had
able to.
never explained that to us. This wasn't brought up until after the meeting with him.
This is where that came from.
No, this came from when I said we need to take the word ethics out of our complaint and make it a code of conduct complaint rather than ethics, because I believe ethics also includes moral law. Somebody might roll their eyes at you from the desk up here one of the council members may roll their eyes at a citizen. They may find that unethical, right? And but it's not in the charter that we can't roll our eyes. So therefore, that wouldn't go anywhere, right?
Sure, but
the things that we are found offense of, like not voting when we're required to, that should be an ethics complaint.
well, that would be
And that's
a
why
violation
I
of the
requested,
charter.
and I requested to take that word ethics out of the complaint, make it a code of conduct complaint, and that's where this came from, the state thing. That's how I remember it. But this does not cover our charter. This is a waste of time. If we approve this, we have just basically gutted our ethics ordinance. That's your opinion. I explained myself. I can't explain it any more English. I mean, I sat up here for a half hour arguing it last month, but nobody seems to understand what I'm trying to say here. So, I mean, it doesn't address our problems. Our problems are the cost of the complaints, frivolous complaints, and the conflict of interest with our attorney. Those are our problems. Our problems are not the complaint form.
Your Honor, Jerry, a violation of the Open Meeting Act is a separate legal way to handle that.
That's not true. The Attorney General, I had a open violation meeting act against our Mayor Carlson. When we were in closed session, he violated Open Meeting Act. I called the Attorney General. They said they would prefer us to handle it locally. So we can do it. It's within our purview, within our authority. It's just a matter of will.
Greg, the violation of the Open Meeting Act is a state violation. Would that be the city attorney's purview to take it from there?
No, it would be the prosecuting attorneys. The
So
city
Jerry-
attorney would have to defend the city.
So
So it'd have to be referred to the prosecutor.
So to Jerry's point, if the state attorney general refused to prosecute it,
Well, that goes back to the conflict of interest problem that we have, but it still has nothing to do with this complaint form. That goes back to conflict of interest with our city attorney having to defend the city rather than the citizen's complaint. That's why we need either a committee, an ad hoc committee, like Member Bill Kate recommended, to take these complaints forward, or we need to hire another attorney other than the city's attorney whose job it is to defend the city, to defend the public. But then we're providing free legal assistance to the citizens, technically. So that's why I recommend we create an ad hoc committee for each complaint. But again, it has nothing to do with the complaint form. This is just wasting time, city money, changing things.
Any
I
other
think we need to be discussing conflict of interest and cost, not complaint forms, period. This does not address our problem. I can't say it enough.
And you don't think the clarification on this form would have curbed some frivolous complaint?
Some, not all.
So it's a step in the right direction.
No, it's gutting the ethics complaint. It's gutting the ethics ordinance, I'm sorry.
There's nothing else other than that our attorney can hold them accountable for from an ethical perspective. Not saying we can't from
That's
a
not
charter
true.
violation or.
Not true,
open
Councilman
meetings.
Montgomery. I just give you an example right out of the charter here. That would not be covered under your complaint form.
So what is
But
the
it
method?
is still a misconduct of office.
What is the method for reporting a misconduct of office, Greg?
So city council would look at it and then make a recommendation. If there's anything removable from city council, we'll go to the governor.
So we would bring that to council as a misconduct of office.
Not according to our ordinance now. I disagree with that. I'm sorry.
Your Honor, to alleviate Jerry's thing, should we table this until the mayor gets back and get his input on it? I mean, we're discussing an important thing here.
We can, the mayor shared that he was supportive of it.
Yeah, he already
not sure.
he already texted me that he was in support of as it's written.
Not sure. Delays will impact.
It's up to you. I mean, it's up to you guys. I made my case. That's all I can do, so. We can move, well, we have to move forward. We got a motion.
I agree with Jerry as far as it's not addressing cost to the city. Frivolous complaints. That's what I wanted addressed. We can't allow that.
I believe the whole intent of narrowing the scope of the complaints is that we'll get less complaints. And then that will save money. The ethics ordinance is not a blanket ordinance that covers all misconduct in office by city council. It isn't. And you can sit up here and you can say it over and over that it is, but there are different methods for resolving different violations, conflicts, unethical behavior. This ordinance does not address all misconduct in office. It addresses unethical behavior. There are other methods for resolving the items that you're discussing, Jerry.
I understand, Jake, but again, I want to stress that originally this ethics ordinance was created to handle these complaints in-house. So the citizens don't have to reach out to the state level or to the district attorney at the county level. This ethics ordinance was created to keep these complaints in-house so we can deal with them here. And the citizens feel that they are being listened to and they have a recourse. And we're taking that away from them with this complaint form.
Your Honor? Jerry's question here. Any ethics violation now with the adoption of this comes to city council, correct?
That's correct.
And it's a live broadcast, so the citizens' complaints are being obligation or ability to come and state their case live on TV, podcast, whatever, to the entire city council. So I think you're kind
I'm
of
sorry,
blowing
but
this-
when have we ever heard an ethics complaint in this council?
Because this new ordinance is where it comes now. Instead of going to the city attorney, it comes to city council. Citizen has a responsibility.
That's not being resolved by what we're passing tonight, though. What we're passing tonight is just a complaint form. That complaint form has nothing to do to address what you're discussing.
We're updating the ordinance
We're
to
updating,
include the.
we're updating the ordinance in total, Jerry. Where instead of the complaint going to the city attorney and having to represent the city.
We don't
and-
need to change, all we need to change is the cost and the conflict of interest. We don't need to change the whole ethics ordinance. We just need to come up with a solution on cost and a solution on conflict of interest.
Jerry, we've discussed this for 4 or 5
I
months
know, and we've been
now.
wasting our time because I feel like nobody I mean, I'm telling you, we're gonna gut our ethics ordinance by passing this complaint form, and we're still gonna have the same cost and the same conflict of interest issues. That's all.
All right, any further discussion?
Discussed it enough.
Yep. All right,
I don't think so. I think it's our job to sit up here night after night, month after month until we get it right. Not because we're sick of talking about it and sick of listening to Councilman Sias. I'm sorry.
You can keep going if you want, Jerry, but I think the rest of us are ready to vote.
I'm sure you are because you don't want to be here. You'd rather be off doing other things in your service to what you ran for. So go ahead, vote.
Councilman Sias, I think it's important to remember that we can always improve on things. Definitely step in the right-
That's your opinion. Well,
With
go
that,
ahead.
Amber,
Wait a minute. What does the city manager, what input do you have, Craig?
This was based on some complaints that the city received, and the city attorney reviewed them. None of these complaints that we've been getting were even identified in the ethics ordinance. The city attorney recommended that we revise the ethic ordinance to list specifically what would be prohibited, and then we could take it to city council. If city council finds it's a violation of the ethic ordinance, we refer it to the city attorney. So hopefully, by having it outline exactly what is ethical violation in this ordinance, it's gonna save the taxpayers money by not having this complaint first reviewed by the city attorney.
Amber?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay. Councilmember Kate,
Yes.
Councilmember DeWitt,
Yes.
Councilmember Sturley,
Yes.
Councilmember Sias,
No.
Councilmember Murdoch,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery,
Yes.
motion passed.
All right, 7K, introduction of ordinance number 337, an ordinance to amend the city code by amending chapter 154 zoning to amend section 3.280 to permit small-scale produce stands in a residential zoning district.
Your Honor, I'd like to make a motion that we allow the small-scale stands in residential districts.
This is introduction, first reading.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then we don't need a motion. I apologize.
Any discussion, public comment?
Your Honor, Blair Bill's here to say anything? Hey, you gotta come to the microphone.
I think that you guys probably all got our last email. You know, we just wanted to make sure that, you know, because this ordinance came about because of a zoning board appeal, that as long as this passes and we operate under the stipulations with the permit, that the roadside stand violations won't apply to us, because that's what we were actually issued for, not the small scale produce violation. So we just want to clarify that, but we are in support of it, as it does give the city, you know, a little bit of a guideline for residents to be able to do this in a safe manner.
Craig, do you mind just clarifying that for us?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Great.
Your Honor, Craig, the violation has been dismissed.
Once the ordinance is adopted, it will be.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Your Honor. Well, if it's adopted also, don't they have a tabled appeal currently?
It would be a null and void if Mr. Cotton.
Okay, thank you.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Craig, does county health department have to get involved in this at all? As far as inspecting stands and roadside sales the way they would in a restaurant or a grocery store or?
They're preparing food, is my understanding. They don't need a health license.
All right. Any additional discussion? Great. That'll be on our next agenda, Craig?
That's correct.
Awesome. Discussion and to take action if appropriate to accept, 7L. Discussion and to take action if appropriate to accept a proposal from Plumbers Environmental Services for $14,100 for sanitary sewer repairs.
So moved.
Support.
Motion and support. Discussion?
Quick question.
Yep.
Craig, reading through that, Matt's, report here, that they're going to inject, instead of digging it up, we're gonna inject it and coat the sewer line?
Correct. It's very similar to lining, putting the sleeve in a main.
This is a proven technology?
Yes.
Thank you.
Greg, how many are they repairing?
4 spots.
4?
4 spots. Yeah.
And this is all main work?
Yes, sanitary. Yep.
And it's not things that our DPW can address?
No.
By the depth of it or the size?
By the depth and getting that tube or sleeve in there in the main to get it lined up in the exact spot.
They couldn't do that, but they could replace it if they could get that.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It depends on some of the sanitary mains in the city are pretty deep.
Yeah, yep, no, 100%. Okay, and this is the one our DPW supported?
Correct. Plumbers have done a number of jobs in the city and they've always been satisfied with their work.
Is there any concern that this is a cutting edge technology, yet they're charging us less than half of what other people quoted us?
No, I don't think it's cutting edge. It's been on the market for a number of years.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay. Amber?
Councilmember DeWitt.
Yes.
Councilmember Sterling.
Yes.
Councilmember Sias.
Yes.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Yes.
Councilmember Kate.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Montgomery.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right, 7M, work session cost recovery ordinance.
At the last meeting, City Council directed staff to give some samples or drafts of other communities for cost recovery. We've included 3 or 4 of them in your packet. City of Grand Haven, City of Grand Rapids, Zeeland Township, Grand Blanc. The City of Grand Haven and the City of Grand Rapids, basically their cost recovery ordinance goes in effect if there's a alcohol-related incident.
Okay. And we don't have that currently.
Correct.
What would the process be for us to update the ordinance to have that cost recovery in effect for alcohol-related incidents?
You would need to adopt an ordinance. We have to draft an ordinance, first reading, second adoption.
Looks like Grand Rapids has that.
Yes.
And it's specifically for alcohol-related incidents, right?
Basically, yes.
What about hazardous materials spills?
You can include that.
Yeah, that's a good
That
idea,
makes
Will.
sense.
Yeah, hazard,
I
yeah.
think so.
We've had issues with that before.
Oh, we got big term.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Not saying that
yeah,
something wouldn't happen, but
right.
like
And
to
I'm-
cover our.
Van Wagner, we had a spillage out there. We had to sue the company to recover.
That makes sense to people, alcohol-related and hazardous material?
Oh, yeah.
Anything else we should be trying to recoup costs for?
My question would be, are we gonna limit it just to substance and alcohol? Or are we gonna do like extradition and car crashes, that kind of thing for the fire department? I don't believe we should charge for medical assist for medical runs. For the car crash, you know, the car insurance company is going to pay it. It's not an obligation of the driver, you know, per se. But one way or another, the insurance company will pay it. I wonder if we want to try to recover some of our crash costs. Typically, we have, what, 15, 20 crashes a year? I mean, we're not talking huge expenditure here on the part of the public.
I'm just thinking through this, I'm not sure who you would charge. You have to find out the guilty party. If there's multiple vehicles involved.
Each one, you know, I would say that would be the fire chief's discretion as to who to charge what. But if you got 3 cars and they're rolled over and you gotta spend 2 or 3 hours extraditing people,
That's what they're there for.
it's also, you know, a big expense on the city. If we can recover some of the cost. I remember a few years ago, the fire chief was dead set against it. I thought he was gonna pull his hair out, but,
But he seems to be okay with alcohol-related, correct? Maybe
I'm
not.
not sure he's okay with it. His comment to me was, that's what taxpayers pay for the service.
Sure.
but what if I don't know if we could discriminate against non-residents as opposed to residents. I don't think that's a viable option.
I mean, I would assume alcohol-related is just, it's easy because it's very clear cut. Who's responsible? Right?
So the police we would get a recovery cost from the police, or in the event of an accident, fire department would get a cost recovery? I guess I'm kind of confused as who's getting what here.
Who's billing, correct?
So my thought would be there, if this ordinance got adopted and there's an incident someplace, everybody that responded would get billed, have their time billed and equipment.
And then who sends that bill?
City Hall.
City Hall sends a bill out to the drunk driver. They receive a bill from the city of Ferrisburg. What happens next?
Well, I'm guessing we'd probably send it to the insurance company.
Yeah, typically, the insurance company would pay. What about with hazardous material now? Say the tank farm has a rupture and they have to adjudicate that and respond to it. Would the tank farm then get a bill for the time and material of the fire department? I guess what I would like to see is the fire chief kind of give us some direction here. You know, as far as drunk drivers, you know, I don't have a lot of sympathy for them, but I could care less. But as far as the, you know, response, you know, to what happens if we have a 3-car crash and one's upside down leaking gas? Now, is that considered a toxic, you know, so at that point, what kicks in? I mean,
Well,
if we,
maybe we limit to
well, but you know, if you got a leaking gas tank, that's a toxic spill. So what kind of chemicals does this fire department have to put on to alleviate that? Whether it's, do we have to get a pumper truck to, you know, roll over tanker, obviously you're talking thousands of gallons.
Yeah.
Where if you're talking about a car, what, 30, 40 gallons probably the max.
But that's where, to the chief's point, the residents pay for that.
But why should we pay for? Yeah, I see both sides of this. I would like to see us recover some cost on it. As far as, you know, the medic, at one point it was proposed that the medical, runs, which are basically the majority, if you watch the fire department, majority of them are medical assist or medical runs. I don't know. I guess I'd like some direction from the chief as to where we should go as far as, you know, toxic spill. Someone has to clean up the gas if it's a crash and there's gas. Is that the city's responsibility? Is that the wrecker's responsibility? Is that, you know, who? I don't know.
Yeah, and again, my concern was mainly around commercial hazardous. I mean, that they deal with already.
Right, but at what point does our costs keep going up? Period. So if we can recoup a percentage of, yeah, you know, the car insurance companies are going to be the ones getting billed. I don't know. I guess I would like some direction from the fire chief to maybe yeah, I don't know. At one point he was dead set against it, but if we have to cut his budget, it may change his mind.
Not cutting it yet.
Well, I'm just saying that's looming on the horizon because we have to come up with a fire truck. So something's gonna get cut somewhere. So,
I'd like to add too, not just alcohol. I'd like to add substance.
Yeah, I like the wording of the Grand Haven and Grand Blanc. They both use the word alcohol / controlled substances. We need to keep it that way and deal with intoxication from whatever.
They're coming up with a test.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
For
it's on
like
the news.
marijuana and
Yes,
cocaine?
and you're high.
Oh, wow, cool. Yeah, because it's getting bad up there.
It is getting scary.
I know.
Okay. Any additional, so Craig, you have enough to take back to the chief?
Yep, we'll draft something up for your review.
All right, 7N, city council procedures. Craig, you want to share a little bit about this with us?
Yeah, there's been some concern that when we do questions, requests and comments, we type them up when someone speaks during public comments and they speak for 3 minutes. We try to put a synopsis together and put it on paper. There's been some concern that what we're putting on paper isn't being reflective of what was actually said or what their intent was. And so that was put together years back when the requests and comments because people were coming in and there was no record of what was being said. And the meetings at that time were recorded with a cassette tape recorder and no one came in and listened to the cassette. And you couldn't go to the internet and find it, anything like that. Today we do questions, requests, and comments and they get posted to the internet on our website. So if someone's going to go to the internet and get our website to look at their questions, requests, and comments, they could just watch the live stream and to see what everybody was saying. And that would put the city out of position of being maybe impartial or being not putting down exactly what the resident wanted said.
Garner? I've had several citizens bring to my attention that there's times where the public comments are not heard on the live stream. I don't know if it's a question if we have a problem with the microphone or they're not close enough or they're not lowering it. They see their lips moving and they hear nothing. For years, we've had any public comments were included in the minutes, printed to us. I think I don't see any reason why that got changed or who changed it or why, but for 20 years or so, every public comment was on our agenda or our minutes of the previous meeting. Who changed that and why?
Ever since I've been with the city, this is how we've done it. The minutes are just reflective of what the motion was and who wrote it. And then we did a separate piece of paper for the question, requests, and comments from the public.
Yeah, I don't know what we can do to address the public comments, but several people have said that they watch it and they do not hear the public comments. So I don't know what.
Maybe we can repeat the comment, so it would be on record.
Well, I think there's probably an opportunity for us to coach our residents. Hey, please don't talk from your seat, right? Please come join us like you guys did earlier, right? Please talk into the microphone.
Well, the thing was they were at the podium, at the microphone, and they were not getting live streamed.
Well, not live stream.
Well, it was not.
It wasn't audible.
It wasn't audible. So I don't know if there's an issue with the microphone, the system, or what, but
If you go to a counselor, and they'll repeat whatever you said back to you, and that could be what we could do to stop that issue with the podium. I could say, well, do I hear you say, and then say whatever they said.
Your Honor, we could just try getting a new microphone. Maybe an improved microphone would help.
Yeah,
I think that's the best. I mean, it's gonna be tough to,
I think there has to be something that I think from my opinion, is that there needs to be a balance. Like you said, Jerry, we want to pick up that noise. I don't, we had two ladies chatting in the back today. We don't want to pick that up, right? So we need a good microphone that can get that specific area without picking up all the chatter of the audio.
Well, we have a wonderful microphone now here.
Well,
Yeah,
I will say this, though. If you watch our streams, still, everybody at the dais, if you don't talk into the microphone, will not pick it up.
Sure.
And it's, people that come to the podium, they don't know any better.
Yeah.
They're not, these are people that are coming for a certain purpose. They're showing up very randomly. What I think would help is if you took the microphone off the stand and made people pick it up and talk into it.
The other options, we get a more broader spectrum microphone, and we have the ability to turn it on and off so that we turn it on when someone approaches the podium, and then when no one's at the podium, it's not picking up chat.
Your Honor, Craig or Amber can you follow live stream while it's going? I mean, do you typically do it?
Watching.
Can you hear citizen?
We have the sound off, just so that we don't have the interference taking place.
Amber,
Can you turn the sound on while they're speaking to make sure that they're being heard?
a better option for that, Mike, why don't we just, in the spirit of accessibility, why don't we just transcribe our live stream? We can add captions automatically, right?
Yeah.
Then Amber can watch the captions, and if you see something drastically different from what they're saying, we can ask them to lean into the mic better.
I have a lot of seniors that have issues.
Careful,
that's
Mike,
where
I'm a senior,
well,
careful.
that's where adding the captions for live stream, I think, is probably
Is that a major deal, Amber? That captions?
I'll have to work on figuring out how to do so, but happy to do that.
should be able to do it automatically. But I'm happy to help.
Okay, well, somehow or another, I'd like to see it addressed.
Yeah.
Because, people watch. And they can't
Captions
understand.
are a good idea.
And, and the people that come up for public comments have a legitimate reason to be here to say something.
Yeah.
And people can't hear them, that's a concern.
This feels like the movie Groundhog Day.
All right.
We've been over the microphone a few times before.
Is there any, is there anything else in regards to city council procedures you want to talk about tonight?
No, my suggestion would be get rid of the portion where it talks about tape recording meetings. And it's gonna be up to city council what you want to do with the question, requests, and comments.
Well, we don't publish them currently.
She prints them or drafts them and then puts them on the internet.
Okay.
So they're right next to the minutes and so what else is on there? Just the minutes.
So the recommendation would be for any details, we go to the live.
Let me clarify, on the city website, all public comments are transcribed and available?
They're not transcribed
Not
word for word, they're summarized, correct? If you want word for word,
That
go to the
seems-
live stream.
That seems to be an issue, that it's not word for word.
I don't know how we could do word for word.
I'm just telling you what people are telling me. You know, so,
I mean, they don't transcribe what we say word for word either, Mike.
but it's available on the live stream.
All of it is
Yeah.
available. That's the point, is we need to make sure that all of it's captured and available on the live stream.
Yeah. Come up with some suggestions, please. Thank you.
So, suggestions for,
So our citizens can
Be heard.
understand or.
Well, that's where the
or
transcript,
Access.
that's where the
more-
captions come
More
in.
than what we have. With captions, that may be the answer.
we can look on that, but then the question, what do you want to do about the question, requests, and comments? Do you want to keep them going or do you want to delete them?
Do you feel that they're necessary if we can direct to a live stream?
I recommend going to the live stream, that way everybody can hear exactly what was said.
I think that would make sense.
Yeah.
And perhaps if the comments can't be heard on the live stream, maybe they're further clarified through a transcription. We're talking about incidents where something's not picked up on a mic. I guess it would be hard for you to go back and also transcribe that. Probably picked up on the stream also.
It would still be a synopsis at the end of the day, but I could,
Maybe just an attempt to further clarify, maybe if it's inaudible.
Sure.
Councilmember Sterling had a good point where people should really hang on to the mic because it's at a certain angle, but not everybody's that height.
I think a real simple solution would be take the stand away and put a laminated sign up there that says, talking to the microphone. Let's just try a very basic
Yeah.
attempt at this. But I think that if you did that, just getting the microphone closer to people's mouth would solve the problem.
I also think a mic stand would help. I think the podium's pretty high for a lot of individuals, so just a mic stand that they can move up and down may help too.
Put it in their hand.
Yeah, put it in their hand.
Your Honor, I think Mr. Sturley has the proper thing, take the stand away and just leave the mic on the podium.
Yeah.
Then they have to pick it up
Then they
and
have to pick
physically.
it up.
I think that's probably the easiest, best answer.
I think that makes sense, and then you have to pick it up. There's no stand.
Is that a major problem, Craig?
No, you just have to remind people to speak into the mic, not
Yeah,
hold
I
it down
think
here.
all of us can do that, reminding people.
Right.
But some people come with printed out, they
Mm-hmm.
want to read it.
Well, they can still,
I was on the other
use that.
stand, on the other side of that stand, and because I spoke before I was councilman. And I came with something I wanted to read.
Mhm.
And I've noticed a lot of people do. They come with their little notebooks and they need something to put it on. I just think you need to hand them a mic, let them talk.
Well,
but
we'll still have the podium, just not the mic stand.
It'll just lay there, so they have to pick it up to talk into it, but you still have the podium.
Yeah, because I think you need,
They have something to hide behind.
yeah, a little protection.
okay.
Confident.
Any further discussion on the city council procedures? You got enough, Craig?
Yes, thank you.
Yep. All right, and last but not least, 7O, work session, Loudoun District Library lockers.
Your
They
Honor?
reached out to you, Craig?
No, we're still working on getting information for us.
Lisa Menrick was gonna give us dimensions, but short, I don't know what happened.
We haven't heard back
I-
from them.
Did you guys not get my email?
I got your email.
I know the approximate dimensions. I know it needs power.
The
I'm pretty
library's,
sure it needs to be protected from the weather, other than that.
library's working on costs and stuff like that right this time.
Do we have somewhere we could put it, Craig?
We want to see what they need first before we start looking too hard.
Craig, what about putting it right inside the door
Yeah.
of City Hall?
That's what
And with that, now I recognize we're gonna need a camera, but you could leave that door unlocked
I'm,
and
don't know.
keep the
Yeah, I'm
interior door locked.
I'm kinda uncomfortable leaving the door to City Hall open.
Well, you'd have the door locked, it'd just be that lobby area. But you need some
Oh,
way for
the
people-
front lobby?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You,
that might be a possibility. One of the things I was talking to Lisa after, the meeting is perhaps we could put it between the entrance to City Hall and the employee entrance on the sidewalk there. I don't know if that would be an option or not knowing the size. That was one thing that was suggested.
I just
without-
didn't know if it had to be indoors or undercover.
Yeah, but that would be under the roof. The main thing they wanted, their concern was the weather. It doesn't have to be necessarily inside, just protected from the rain is the main.
Your Honor, I would recommend that we reach out to Lead Paints. I think underneath their awning, their mezzanine
Yeah.
would be a perfect place. Plus they have electric under there. In addition, it could drive business, you know, people could go there, pick up their books and their groceries at the same time. So, could we reach out to Lead Paints and see if they'd be accepting of something like that, Craig? Yes.
What you want?
All right. You're gonna keep trying to get a hold of them, Craig?
Yep.
Talk to Lisa, let her know we're still waiting from the executive director. Okay, anything else for this work session? All right. All right, 8, public comments. Seeing none.
Crickets.
9, report city manager.
No report?
All right, city council members, Mike,
No report.
Bill,
No report.
okay,
Want to apologize for coming in late today to the meeting. I coach my son's Little League team. We lost a nail biter, 13-12. So, but we'll look to bounce back on Wednesday. But I do apologize to you guys for being late.
Jerry.
No report.
Beautification Commission is working on the picnic, and I think we're pretty much there. Everything going into place, and parade and picnic again this year on the 4th.
Quick question, Debbie, when you guys are ready for a check for the bounce house, let me know.
Okay. Got that, Craig?
Yep.
All right. This report, had a rec commission meeting last week. Construction at Fire Barn Park is going well. We met with C3 from Grand Haven. They're going to be working with another anonymous donor to provide us trees. They have a matching program going on right now, so you can make a donation. I believe it's $80, correct, Craig?
Correct.
And they have a anonymous donor that will match that to buy trees. I believe as of last week, we're up to 60 trees, and those trees will all be going to support the city of Ferrysburg. So we'll be planting 60 trees around the city. On that note, huge thank you to DPW, not only for helping us soon plant 60 trees in the fall or more, but also for all their work over the past with the storm. So please pass that on to them, Craig. And I hope we can do something nice for them, even if it's just get them coffee or something good. They've been working hard with everything the city's gone through in the weather. We have our summer concert series coming up. If you haven't got your flyers for that, they're out. It's on Facebook. Craig did several events on Facebook as well. We have the band lineups published. We've got the food truck lineups published. It's all going to be at William Ferry Park, and we're all very excited. Hopefully we get a even better turnout than we did last year. So That, end of report.
Your Honor, I do have one thing I should have said. I will not be here for the next meeting, but I'll send an email reminder.
Motion adjourned.
All right. Well, adjourn.
Thank you.
Move right along.
I was reading that, I was like, oh.